Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. We're about ready to head into the weekend. And while some of you may be looking forward to that, I'm always looking for a day off on Saturday. There's always the chance that something kind of happens. So I just want to point that out. Nothing in particular that's going on that I could be aware of for this weekend. But, you know, with the way things are going and the craziness that's happening all around us, it seems, just wanted to make you aware of that. If you are still in the process of stocking up on food and stuff, which you should be all the time, if you're looking for emergency food, that's the freeze-dried food. It's all sealed up. Mylar has a 25-year shelf life. Got a company down below in the description in the comment section that you might want to check out. It's all non-GMO, no preservatives, no MSG kind of stuff, any of that kind of thing. It's very high quality, so you're not just getting the cheap stuff, and it's like I said, you're not getting any of that bioengineered, genetically modified garbage. So it's something that if you're interested and you're in the market for it, you might want to check it out. It's maybe not for everyone or not right now, but if you're at that stage that you're trying to put back a little bit of freeze-dried long-term food, which I always advocate having a little bit. I think that it has its place, especially when everything falls apart, and we all go into kind of that initial panic mode, that initial trying to get everything in our plan enacted. Not having to worry about cooking meals, I think, is going to be really important. Just being able to, for at least a few weeks, pull freeze-dried food out and just prepare it because there's no cooking to it. I think that would be a good idea. And then there's other uses, of course. Anyways, all right. So my video today is almost a part two, I guess, in some ways, to what I've been talking about the last couple of days, which is, of course, the invasion at the border, the invasion, not just at the southern border, but that we are being invaded. Okay, it's just plain and simple. You want to talk about insurrection? This is happening on a daily basis. Whisker here in my mouth, driving me nuts. We are absolutely being invaded. We are in a maybe not officially, maybe not declared, and maybe a lot of the people don't know it, but I believe that we are in a state of war right now. Not just with what's going on with the illegals pouring into this country, but a lot of the other stuff. I mean, if you look at how we're behaving in Europe and in the Middle East, I mean, we're funding wars, we're providing the weapons, even some of the people. I mean, we've got troops just a few miles off the coast of China that are in Taiwan, American troops in Taiwan stationed there. We're in a war, and if you don't realize that, if you haven't considered that, or you haven't awakened to that fact, it's time you hurry up and do so. The faster you do that, the faster you can move along and start really getting ready for it. Because until you realize that we are absolutely in a state of war, you're kind of still in this, well, I'm preparing for the what ifs. There's no more what ifs, folks. I mean, yeah, okay, there are some what ifs. There are certain things that we don't know exactly how it's going to play out, or exactly what's going to happen. Probably some black swan event. That's what Ron Paul said the other day on Tucker Carlson, and I agree. There'll probably be some kind of black swan event, all that. But we know what's going on, and we know it's happening. This isn't well, maybe something will happen someday, so I better start putting some food aside. No, it's happening right now in our lives, right in front of us. We're being invaded. We're in a state of war. We're in a state of war, a civil war here in the United States. It's not kinetic yet. It's not bullets flying everywhere, just in certain neighborhoods and stuff. But there's definitely a civil war. If nothing else, I mean, we're past ideological civil war. We may be still in a cold civil war, but it's happening. Regardless of how you want to look at this, there's just certain facts that cannot be denied. And the fact is that that we are in a state of turmoil and chaos, and it's getting worse. Have we peaked? Not even close. But yeah, it's getting worse, and you need to be taking things extremely serious at this point. I don't think we're too far away from things really starting to pop off. In the last 24 hours or so, I've spoken to numerous people on this. I've just kind of had this flood of conversations with people. Some of them are real life in person, some on the phone, some in email, texting, things like that. But several conversations, several communiques from various people, all pretty much on this subject. That America is we're starting to we're at an inflection point, is what I think most people agree with. And this is something that you and I have been talking about and preparing for the last few years, that, you know, we're going to get to this point where things really start ramping up, where it becomes more noticeable, not just to folks like you and I because we're really looking for it, but noticeable to everyone. And I think that we are either at that point right now, or we're kind of heading into that curve. You know how it is when you're heading toward, you can see the curve up ahead, but then when you start to get into, you're not through the curve yet, but you're starting to go into that curve. So we're either through it or in it, or in the middle of it, or whatever. And what that means is that the downfall is just going to start picking up speed from here. We're going to start seeing these things that we've seen in the news and heard in the news that are happening around the country. It's going to start being more often, in more areas, starting to spread. You've got to realize that there's still thousands and thousands of people coming across the border and into this country illegally every day. So it's going to continue to spread. That's just all there is to it. The United Nations is saying that probably at least half of the population of Haiti is going to need some type of help, care. And the estimates that I've seen from the UN and other entities is that anywhere between 1 and 5 million Haitians may need to be refugees. Where do you think they're all going to go? You think that a country that's just a few hundred miles off of our coast, they're going to ship them to Europe or China? Or no, they're going to come here. They're going to end up on our shores. Just like all the thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds of millions and millions of people from the Middle East and Africa and China and Russia and many other places that are pouring into this country every day. I've had several people that have family in Mexico, or they know people, or south of the border, and they're all telling similar stories, that the rumor mill in countries, Mexico and other countries south of the border, is that this is an invasion. They're calling it an invasion. You know, they're saying that all these people coming up here, that they're coming here to destroy the country. They're coming here to take it over. Had a couple of people, and this one, I can't confirm this one, so it could just be hearsay, but that video that I showed yesterday, where they were overtaking the southern border there in El Paso, had several people say that eyewitnesses and people around there are saying that when they're coming across, they're chanting things like "Death to America" and things like that. Now again, I cannot confirm that. That could be completely hearsay, made up, fake news. I don't know. But it wouldn't be surprising, because all the proof, the evidence, actual proof, evidence that we've seen, is that the huge majority, if not all, of the people that are coming into this country illegally right now aren't doing it because they want to be Americans, because they want to live in the land of the free and be prosperous and integrate into our culture. There's no indication of that anymore. Maybe that happened years or decades ago, but we're not seeing that now. Even if the people that are coming in here illegally aren't an organized movement from a foreign government to take us over, even if it just is just people coming here, there's no indication that they're coming here with any kind of love for this country. They're coming here to take it over, to get what they can out of it. This is an invasion, and it's going to start spreading everywhere. It's going to start happening closer and closer and closer to you. especially if you don't, the further away you live from out here in the sticks like I do. You live in the suburbs in the city, it's going to start affecting you more rapidly. You're going to see it a lot sooner than I am. And so that's one of those reasons I've been telling you, get out of cities. You need to be stocking up. You need to be doing all that kind of stuff. You know, ammunition, boomsticks, food, medical. Getting yourself prepared, and maybe even running some drills with your family of, can you lock your property down for a week, 2 weeks, 30 days, 60 days, meaning you kind of lock yourself in there. It's quite possible that, you know, violence could start spreading in more places. The U.S. government has been warning even more so in the last few days of a potential threat to our water supply system. The United States Homeland Security and the World Economic Forum for the last couple of months have been talking very heavily about cyber attacks and how they believe it's going to happen. It's going to happen before the end of this year. There's so many things. NASA is saying that there's a very likely chance that a major solar flare could happen before 2025 and, you know, knock out or greatly damage our communication systems. It's just on and on and on and on, folks. There's just too much. There's too much for nothing to happen. We have to get ready for that. And all the things that I've said, many others online, you should be doing them. And it's not just the spending the money and the stocking up on the food and buying the bullets and buying the beans and all. I mean, that's part of it. It really is. But that's not the only thing. I think really the two biggest things is our mindset, wrapping our heads around the fact that America's cooked. It's done unless by some miracle. And that we need to get ready for that mentally, but we also need to get ready for that spiritually. And I'm speaking of, you know, your relationship with God. He's the only, he's going to win in the end. He's the only one that can save us from all this. And so, you know, start working on that, getting it stronger, because there's a huge spiritual warfare factor to all this. And I talk about that frequently. Bottom line is we got to get ready. Take it serious, recognize that there's a threat, start keeping your head on a swivel, noticing things in your area. I mean, we're not talking about crazy vigilantes type stuff. Just be aware of the movements and changes and unusual patterns and things that are happening in your area, your neck of the woods, so that you get a better feel on what's going on. Saturday night, probably like 10 o'clock, I think. I mentioned it the other day, but it's been confirmed. I'm going to be on the John B. Wells show. They'll be doing an intelligence briefing, and they've invited me to come on there for 30 minutes to an hour or so. It's one of the largest conservative talk show hosts, radio shows in the country. I think it's in the top 10 now. A very large audience. So it's the Arc After Midnight. If you're familiar with this guy, he used to be on Coast to Coast. Has a very large show now with this. So anyways, I'll be on Saturday night. It plays on YouTube, live on YouTube, Rumble, and several other platforms, lots of podcasts, or multiple radio stations. So I'll be on there Saturday night, but talking about this thing, because it's beyond time. You know, I know there's still many of you naysayers that think that I'm ridiculous when I talk about community and how important it is all the time. That's fine. That's your deal. It's your problem to deal with. I guess in the end we'll figure out who was right and who was wrong. But I'm telling you, historically speaking, biblically speaking, everything. I can't. There's not really any evidence other than just the hype from Hollywood, the hype from the government, that indicates that we should not have any connections with people around us. In fact, everything else shows just the opposite. This narrative that people will 100% be dangerous. I mean, certainly there's going to be dangerous people. You got to be careful, and you have to be smart and pick your friends wisely and everything. But this idea that, you know, it's foolish to have any relationship with people, any kind of connection, that's absurd. That theory only comes out of Hollywood movies. That's it. So you need to be building connections, community with people around you. You need to be training.
You should be getting out and you should be, you know, burning up at least, at minimum, a box of ammunition a day, a month. Box of ammunition a month, minimum. You need to keep everything honed and sharpened. Keep your weapons cleared and cleaned. Keep your magazines loaded. Do some drills with your family. You and your spouse, you two should be doing training all the time. Because in the end, you and your spouse, your husband, wife, whatever, you're the very last line of defense. You should be training frequently, learning how to communicate with each other, you know, in that kind of, you know, battlefield scenario, so that you can function and work together. There's all kinds of drills you can do. You can find them online if you don't have someone around you to teach them. But you need to be doing that kind of stuff too, because I think we're in this stage, and we can deny it all we want, and maybe I'm a little ahead of it by saying that, but I think that we're there, or very, very close to there. And the thing is as much as we want to say no, it's not now, we're all the same people that for the last 3 or 4 years have been saying it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I think in this situation it's better for us to be ahead of the curve than behind it. And so if I'm a little ahead, then that's fine. It just gives us a little bit more time to get prepared instead of trying to get caught up. You need to get your houses in order, folks, and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.